Uh, yeah.
Good
So,
morning, sir.
yeah, good morning, everyone. How was the night? All right, so we want to start away because we are a bit 5 minutes late. Now, let's start the class. We have about 6, 7 participants in now. Emmanuel is also in. Let's start by looking at today's topic, market structure. Let me try to share the slides. I've sent the slides to you on on your LMS. I believe you have seen that slide. I believe you have seen the slide. Please, can you respond? I believe you have seen the slides. I'm sharing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So we want to look at market structure. That is second to the last topic for this semester. So market structure. Let's look at the introduction. Introduction to market structure. Market, the word market in economics refers to the numbers of buyers and sellers of a commodity. So if I say COMM, that means commodity. Numbers of buyers and sellers of a commodity, that's market. So it's not for you to say a place where buying and selling takes place. No, in economics, we don't refer to market as a place. It's not a visible place like Ọjà Òyìnbó, Ọjà Alẹ́. No, that's not market. The market we are referring to here is talking about the numbers of buyers and sellers of a product. Now, market structure explains how firms operate. So, market structure now looks at how firms operate or compete depending on the nature of the demand, the cost, and the profit maximizing conditions. So, market structure also determines the behavior of firms, the level of competition, and the extent to which resources are efficiently allocated in an economy. So when you talk about market structure, you are now beginning to look at what is the nature of the demand, what is the cost condition, and what is the profit maximizing condition of that kind of market. So market structure determines the behavior of firms. I've said that. It also determines the price, the output, and the profit maximizing condition or the profit maximization under different markets. So for this presentation and for your level and this semester, we're going to look at 4 major types of market structure. One, we have perfect competition, or what you call perfect market. 2, we have pure monopoly, or what you call monopoly. 3, we have monopolistic competition and oligopoly. So we have 4 of them. 1, perfect market. 2, pure monopoly. 3, monopolistic competition. And 4, oligopoly. So you can see that in this diagram that I put on the next slide 3. You can see there 4 types of market structure, and that is based on the number of firms and some other characteristics of the market. Okay, so if it's a one firm, that means a one seller, you call that a monopoly. Mono means one. So a one seller, many buyer situation, you call that monopoly. Then when you have few sellers or few firms and many buyers, you call that oligopoly. You know, if you look at the example of monopoly, we have NEPA, we have water supply. Water supply is coming from the Federal Ministry of Works, and that is where you get supply of water. So when you now talk about, you can also talk about cable TV supply. cable TV supply. And when you talk about cable TV supply, you are talking about the issue of the CNN. CNN provides cable TV supply, Go TV. You can see that there are a monopoly of it. You can just be watching your TV and you just discover that they are monitoring your subscription. So that is to show your NEPA can just strike at any time, and you don't have an option than to look for substitute. But those substitutes are not capable substitutes. Even if you decide to say you want to put local TV or local antenna will not provide you what the cable TV will provide you. Okay. Now, oligopoly, you have the likes of table tennis or crude oil. You find out there is very few countries in the whole world under OPEC that is blessed with crude oil. So you can call that an oligopoly market. Monopolistic competition, that is when you have many firms, but differentiated products. Many firms, but differentiated products. Example, you can talk about novels, movies. You can watch different kind of movies, but the movies has different title and different message, different target audience. And that will make you to know that that is a monopolistic competition. So it's a many sellers, many buyers, but differentiated products. So they have a brand name, they have a logo in case, and then you have an identity for that product. So that's a differentiated product. Then you have also the last one, which is the commonest one, which we call the perfect market. That is a many buyer, many seller situation, but an identical product, which you can call homogeneous product. And that one, you have the likes of milk, you have wheat, you have a Greek product. Cassava is cassava, irrespective of where you get it from. So you can say those ones are pure, they are perfect markets. Okay, let's move on. So let's explain them one by one. Now, different types of market structure. We said perfect market or perfect competition. Many buyers, many sellers, identical products. There is no barrier to entry and exit. Let me correct that, or add to that. You can say there's no barrier to entry and exit. That means you are free to join the business. You are also free to leave the business, not in terms of physical entering into the market. Don't forget I said earlier that market does not refer to physical place where buying and selling takes place. So when you talk of free entry and free exit, you are not talking about going inside the market, but you are talking about joining the business or exiting the kind of business. Then we have perfect information. What that means is that both the buyers and the sellers, everybody is aware of the market price. So no single seller can change or can influence the price in the market. And therefore, this makes sellers to be called price takers. Price takers. We can also add to that and say, while the buyers are the price makers, because they are the one that will decide the price, and the seller will accept the price because the seller has competitors. So if you decide to increase your price unnecessarily, people may not buy your product. Now, examples, we have agricultural market, we have forex market, we have stock market, and this is where numerous sellers offer identical products, and buyers have full information and they are free to enter or exit the market, and is at minimal restriction. Then it makes the firms to become price takers. The firms there are referring to sellers. While a truly perfect market is theoretical, These sectors exhibit strong characteristics like homogeneous goods and easy access to price information. What that is saying is that in reality, in practical terms, we don't really have a pure perfect market. There's no market that is as perfect as having it to have many buyers, many sellers, no barrier to entry, no barrier to exit, perfect information of price, sellers are price takers. Some sellers can decide not to be price takers in reality. Okay, if you don't want to buy, you go. All right, so they don't want to accept the market price. They want to sell at the price that is comfortable for them, or that they want to exploit the buyers. Okay, so we can move on. Let's move on. The second one is monopoly. Characteristics of monopoly: one, single seller. That means one firm is the sole producer of a product like NEPA. No close substitute. Consumers have virtually no alternative. If you say you don't want the NEPA light and you want gen, it's subject to the level of fuel you can burn or the level of diesel you can burn. If that fuel finishes, you don't have light. Even though you might say that, okay, what about the prepaid meters that once your card finishes? But that is at a lesser cost. And then you can still recharge and still have the access to that light as long as the sole distributor, the Penco and Denco also, as long as they give you the light, okay? So you can say you have access to the light. Then we'll also say there is high barrier to entry. High barrier. There is legal restriction. You can't just say, oh, I have money, I want to go into supply of electricity. No, no. You can't say, oh, I have the patent. You must have the patent rights before you can become a monopoly. The patent right to be the sole producer of that commodity. Then you must have control of raw materials. And then you must have huge capital base to go into such business. And then this kind of monopoly, the firms have full control over the price, subject to demand. So the sellers are price makers. So if I ask you the difference between monopoly and perfect market, in perfect market, sellers are price takers. But in monopoly, sellers are price makers. That means the firm has the full control over price, subject to demand. Then profit maximization. This one is a general rule. It occurs where MR equals to MC. Take note of that. Very important. I'm putting it in bold. You can see I'm putting red. I'm putting thick red to show that that is the place it occurs. Okay, it occurs where MR equals to MC. Price taken from AR. That means the price must also be equal to average revenue. Now, supernormal profit is possible for monopoly in both short run and long run. The supernormal profit we're saying there is that it has the ability to make above normal profit in both short run and long run. Then there is also what we call price discrimination. For a monopoly, you can charge different prices to different customers at different times. Let's put it there, at different time, a different time period. So you can charge that kind of price. It has the monopoly, so it can charge what we call price discrimination, charge different prices to different customers at different time periods. Okay, now it has also allocative inefficiency. That means most times its price is above its marginal cost. Allocative inefficiency is when price is not equal to marginal cost. The cost at which you produce an additional unit should determine the unit price or what we call the average price. But by the time that price is higher than marginal cost, you have allocative inefficiency. And allocative inefficiency is that period when you have supernormal profits. Okay? Then we have productive inefficiency. That means it does not produce at the minimum of average cost. It can produce when average cost is lower. It can produce when average cost is higher if it chose to produce. And if it chose to produce when average cost is higher, it's going to make loss. But no monopolist wants to make loss. So they always produce when average cost is lower. But the right thing is for them to produce when average cost is at the minimum. And that is when their prices will not be too expensive. Let's move on. Let's look at the demand and cost condition and profit maximizing condition of a pure monopolist. Now, the monopolist faces a downward slopey demand curve. Take note of that. And because it must lower price to sell more, MR lies below AR. Okay, for a pure monopolist. And profit maximization, we've said that occurs at MR is equals to MC. From MR equals to MC, it moves upwards to the AR curve to determine price. And the output is restricted while price is higher than in the perfect market situation. And since P, which is price, is greater than marginal cost, monopoly is allocatively inefficient. Those are technical terms. Output is usually below the level of minimum cost. I've said that, showing that it is productive inefficiency. Now, let's look at the graph. The graph after that will let you have an idea of what I'm saying. Now, take a look at this graph. Look at it very well. You will see that this is the profit maximizing condition of a pure monopolist. The first thing you should take note, let me see if I can take my video on my video. Okay. Now, I want to see whether you'll be able to see my hand. I'm trying to see whether I can take you to see this place. Oh, okay. I will not be able to show you the screen, but I'm trying to see a situation where if you look at the first arrow, the red arrow there is the average revenue. The red arrow there is the average revenue. But I cannot show you, but if you look at it, you see an arrow pointing down. That's the average revenue. Then the next one that followed it is the marginal revenue. So the average revenue takes note of the demand curve. Now, you will now draw your average cost. It's a pity I can't show you, but when we come for the physical class, I will redraw them. Now, you see that this one that you are having here, that's the blue line, the blue curve, the one in the middle, the blue curve in the middle, that's the average cost. Then the one that goes down, that comes as if you are marking a note, that is the marginal cost. Please, you can label it the way I'm saying it in your own notes. You can redraw it and relabel it. Now, what are we trying to achieve? We want to look at the points where the marginal revenue, which is the line, the second red line, and the marginal cost, which is the second blue line, where the two of them meet. That is the profit maximizing condition or point, and that is where you have monopolist profit. So if you see it now, you can see that it has been traced with another green line, a green dotted line. So they trace it with the green dotted line to show the monopolist profit. Okay, so from there now, if you want to really measure whether this this what is it called now? This monopolist is making profit. Look at the place where the marginal revenue and marginal cost meets. If you look at that point, you will see that there is a dotted green line there. Then look at where, trace it upwards to where you have your demand or your average revenue. Your average revenue is the same as demand. So if you trace it upwards, you now see that there is a wide gap showing a kind of rectangle. You can see that rectangular shape of the green dotted line. That space is the space for supernormal profit. So, but we're going to try to do them when we come for the physical class. So you have quite a lot to still do at the physical class. Now, profit maximization rule. The rule is that for you to have profit, total revenue must be subtracted from total cost. And then when you want to get your marginal revenue, it is the differentiation of the total revenue with respect to quantity. So the differentiation of the total revenue with respect to quantity. Then marginal cost. This is the differentiation of total cost with respect to quantity. Okay. Now, I kept emphasizing a profit is therefore maximized where MR is equal to MC. This one cuts across all the 4 types of markets. It cuts across them. And then on the other hand, cost is minimized where AC is equal to MC. Cost is minimized where AC is equal to MC. Okay. Now, the essence of a business, therefore, is to minimize cost and maximize profit. The essence of a business, you can underline that. The essence of a business is to minimize cost and maximize profit. Because I'm going to give you multiple choice answers in the exam. When you want to write the final exam, I will pick some of these points and give it back to you as OBJ. So then the section B of it will be the theory where you will do the calculation and the graph and the theory and the written part. Now let's look at the perfect competition. You know, you can be given a small calculation like this, supposing or if total revenue, you can see it from here, if total revenue is equal to 20Q and total cost is equal to 5Q plus Q squared. If I ask you to calculate marginal revenue, all that you will do, let me show you from here, I will try and do it. You differentiate, let me put the footnote here, to get marginal revenue, you differentiate the total revenue function, okay? Total revenue function. Then to get marginal cost, you also differentiate the total cost function. So I taught you how to differentiate the last time. So if you want to differentiate 20Q, Q has an invisible one. So take that one, multiply it by 20, that will give you 1 times 20, that will be 20. Then subtract 1 from that power. So differentiation means you take the power of an equation, multiply it by the coefficient or the base, then subtract 1 from the power. So if you subtract 1 from 1, you have 0. So Q raised by 0 will give you 1. 1 times 20 will give you 20. That is how that marginal cost is gotten at 20. Then for the marginal revenue, you have marginal revenue is 20. So the marginal cost, how will they get that? Since the TC is equal to 5Q plus Q squared, then you differentiate that equation for 5Q. If you want to differentiate it, you have an invisible one. So you multiply it by 5, you have 5. Then subtract 1 from the 1, you have 0. Q raised to power 0 is 1. 1 times 5 is 5. So you have 5 plus, then you differentiate Q squared. If you want to differentiate Q squared, you take that power of 2, multiply it by the base. The base has an invisible 1. So 2 times 1 will give you 2. Then subtract 1 from the 2, that will give you 1. So 1, that will be Q raised to power 1, and that will be 5 plus Q. Now, for you to now know the profit maximizing output, look at it here. Look at it here. You will now equate MR to MC. So if you equate MR to MC, you have 20 is equal to 5 plus 2Q. So from here now, you can decide to go further and say 2Q is equal to what now? 20 minus 5. Yes, 20 minus 5. Okay. And that will give you what? That will give you 15. So we can say 2Q is equal to 15. Therefore, your Q is equal to 15 divided by 2, and that will give you 7.5. So that's how you got the profit maximizing output. You can put it there. Sorry, we are running out of time. Profit maximizing output. Okay. Output. Okay. All right. So this is the answer. You can put it in red. That's the answer. Very simple. So let's move on. Let's save that. Let's move on. So we have you can also try for Monopoly. This one says if you have given the demand equation as P is equal to 100 minus 20Q, how will you get your marginal revenue? From here, they gave us marginal revenue. Okay, we have even been given marginal revenue is 100 minus 4Q. Okay, then marginal cost is 20. So how do you calculate your profit maximizing output? Step 1, you set MR is equal to MC. So your MR from here is what? 100 minus 4Q. Equate it to MC, which is 20. Then you get Q as 20 units. Step 2, you calculate the monopoly price. Okay, and how do you do that? You substitute Q is equal to 20 into the demand to get the price. So if you now say P is equal to 100 minus 20Q, where Q is 20, then P will now be 60 naira. That's your monopoly price. Step 3, how do you get the profit? If you want to get the profit, it is if AC, and they said profit if AC is equal to 30. Is equal to 30. So at the end of the day, you have that as total profit is equal to 600. So in conclusion, the monopolists earn supernormal profits in both short run and long run. Monopolistic competition. The characteristics is that you have many sellers and many buyers of differentiated products, similar but not identical, free entry and free exit. Free entry and free exit. Free entry and free exit, some level of price control, hence the sellers are price takers. Then the use of advertising and other promotion tools. So examples of such monopolistic competition is restaurants, clothing stores, soft drinks, bottled water, beer, and so on. Then what is the demand condition and profit maximizing condition, profit maximizing condition. I did this yesterday night because I didn't get a clear view from the governor on time, but it's okay. So if you look at this now, the difference between them, this one and that of the monopoly, this curve, and that of the curve we did earlier, look at it here, this one. The difference is that for this one, the demand is inelastic, that's the AR. Then for this one, the demand is elastic, this one. So look at what I wrote here. I said the demand curve of a monopolistic competitor is elastic because there are many sellers and many buyers of differentiated products. So you can immediately switch if the price of one does not favor you, you switch to the other because they are both substitutes. Okay, but the monopolistic competitor makes only a normal profit in the long run if his MR is greater than MC because there is existence of competition and the cost condition of all the markets are the same, and that is where MC cuts AC from below. That means MC is equal to AC is equal to MC. Just as perfect competition and pure monopoly, the profit maximizing point for all of them is the same. MR is equal to MC. Now let's look at oligopoly. Oligopoly is a few large firms that dominate the market. Products can be identical and differentiated, high barriers to entry, interdependence between the firms, and there is tendency that they can form a cartel or a coalition. Examples of organizers, barbers, you can see that they are few and they can form a cartel, they can form an association, and the same price is what they will charge. Banking industry, car manufacturers, and so on. So the demand condition, cost, and profit maximizing condition of an oligopoly are the same, except that the latter can make supernormal profits. The latter there is referring to monopolies. They can make supernormal profits in both short run and long run because of the absence of competition. But in oligopoly, they can only make normal profits. But if they become a cartel, they will become a monopolist and they can also make normal profit. So in conclusion, because we have just less than 3 minutes, in perfect competition, efficiency is maximized as price equals marginal cost, benefiting consumers. Monopolistic competition introduces product variety and innovation, but it leads to some inefficiency due to excess capacity. Now, oligopoly reflects strategic interdependence among the few firms, often resulting in price rigidity and non-price competition. Monopoly, while capable of earning long-run supernormal profit, tends to restrict output and raises profits, causing welfare loss unless they are regulated. Now, we're going to have a session, another session now, that will ask questions, but this is almost time. So I like to stop sharing the slide. Then we'll now come back and have another session that we can make question and answers from. So just hold on. I'll send you the link immediately now so that we can have that. So thank you for listening. If you are there, just respond. If you are there, unmute yourself and respond so that I will know you are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. What about others? Taye and Co. Daniel?
Yes, sir. I'm there, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So just hold on.